What's the creepiest delivery you've ever had? I used to work as a pizza delivery driver in a small town. Pretty uneventful job most of the time. You get in your car, drop off the food, maybe chat with a friendly family, maybe get stiffed on a tip. Same thing every night. But this one delivery, I swear it changed something in me. It's been years, and I can still hear the whispers. It was late, maybe 11:30 at night, and I was about to clock out when a ticket printed from the machine. The address didn't look familiar. My town wasn't that big, and I'd driven pretty much every road. But this one was way out by the woods. I hesitated. My manager saw the look on my face and said, "Easy money, last one of the night." So I took it. The drive started out normal. But the farther I went, the darker it got. Streetlights disappeared. Houses became few and far between, then none at all. Just road and endless trees pressing in on both sides. My GPS started glitching. The little arrow spun in circles, rerouted, froze, then suddenly jumped half a mile ahead. At one point, it told me I'd already arrived. But there was nothing there. Just pitch black road. Finally, I spotted a mailbox with the right number. The paint was peeling. The post was crooked. The numbers looked scratched in, like someone had carved them instead of painted them. The house itself was barely visible. Set far back, hidden behind the trees. No lights, no cars, no sound. If I hadn't seen the mailbox, I'd have sworn the property was abandoned. I parked, grabbed the pizza, and started up the dirt path. My flashlight beam shook as I walked. The closer I got, the worse the place looked. The windows were dark and dirty. The porch sagged. The wood steps creaked loud under my feet, like they hadn't been walked on in years. I knocked once. Silence. Knocked again, louder. Nothing. I was about to turn around when I heard it. Whispering. At first I thought it was wind moving through the trees. But it wasn't. These were voices, more than one, coming from right behind me on the porch. I froze, my whole body went stiff. I turned my head slowly, expecting someone to be standing there. But the porch was empty. Still, the whispers didn't stop. That's when the front door creaked open. Just a few inches. No light inside, just a hollow black void. And then a man's voice came from the darkness. "We've been waiting for you." My heart slammed against my ribs, and before I could even react, the whispers moved from the porch into the house. Suddenly, it wasn't just a few voices, it was dozens. Overlapping, urgent, frantic, like a crowd whispering all at once. I couldn't make out a single word, but the sound made my skin crawl. I set the pizza down and backed away slowly, step by step. The moment my foot hit the dirt, I ran. I bolted down the path, jumped into my car, and floored it. Gravel kicked up behind me as I tore down that dirt road. The whole way back, I kept checking my rearview mirror. And every time I looked, I thought I saw something sitting in the back seat. Just a shadowy outline, like a person slouched in the dark. But when I turned around, the seats were empty. When I got back, I told my manager what happened. He thought I was joking. But when he pulled up the order list for the night, my ticket wasn't there. No phone call, no address, nothing. I still had the slip in my pocket, but it didn't exist in the system. The next day, I drove back during daylight, determined to prove to myself it was just some prank. But the road looked different. Shorter, more overgrown. There was no mailbox with that number. No driveway, no house, just trees. I tried to laugh it off. Stress, lack of sleep, too many horror movies. But then the whispers started again. Not loud, just faint. Always behind me when I'm alone. In the kitchen, in the bathroom, in my room at night, and every now and then, I catch something clearer. Words I can't mistake. The same voice I heard at that house. The last time it was right beside my...
I've worked delivery for years, pizza, packages, even groceries. I've dealt with drunk customers, creepy guys hitting on me, and plenty of prank calls. But nothing comes close to what happened that night. It was a normal shift. I had just finished a few drop-offs when a new order came through late night delivery, cash on arrival. The address was in a decent neighborhood, nothing unusual. When I pulled up, the house looked lived in, lights on, curtains drawn. I grabbed the bag, walked up to the porch, and knocked. A man answered right away, tall, built, smiling. "Delivery?" he asked. I nodded, holding out the bag. That's when he said, "Come inside, I'll grab the money." Red flag. We're not supposed to step inside. But he was already walking toward the back of the house, leaving the door open. I hesitated. Then I heard a woman's voice calling, "It's okay. He's just grabbing his wallet." Against my better judgment, I stepped in. The second my shoes crossed the threshold, the door slammed shut behind me. Everything after that happened fast. Something was pressed against my face, cloth soaked in chemicals. I tried to fight, but 2 sets of arms held me down. My head spun. Darkness swallowed me. When I woke up, I was in a basement, concrete floor, no windows, just a single bulb swinging overhead. The pizza bag was gone, my phone gone, my keys gone. There was only one door, padlocked from the outside. For hours, I heard them upstairs, whispering, moving around. Once, I swear I heard laughter. At some point, footsteps came down the stairs. The tall man from the door looked in at me through the bars. "You shouldn't walk into places you don't belong," he said calmly, like he was giving me advice. Then he walked away. I don't know how long I was down there. Time blurred together. But eventually, I noticed something strange. The lock wasn't closed all the way, like someone had rushed and forgotten to snap it shut. My hands shook as I tested it. It clicked open. I didn't think. I ran. The house was dead quiet. No sign of the man. No sign of the woman. I slipped out the back door and sprinted, barefoot into the street until I reached the glow of a gas station. The cops didn't find anyone in the house. In fact, they claimed the house had been empty for months, abandoned, boarded up, utilities shut off. But I know what I saw. And sometimes late at night, when I'm out on deliveries, I get the feeling a car is following me. Always just a few lengths back. Never close enough to see who's inside. I used to deliver food for a local pizza place when I was in my early 20s. Most nights were chill, college kids, late night stoners, families ordering dinner. But one order still makes my skin crawl when I think about it. It was around 11:30 at night. The ticket said cash only, which wasn't unusual back then. But the address wasn't one I recognized. It was way out on the edge of town, a road I'd never taken. The GPS kept glitching as I drove. It would reroute, spin, then finally settle, always pointing me deeper into the woods. By the time I pulled up, I was at this small, run-down house with no porch light and no car in the driveway. I grabbed the pizza bag, walked up, and knocked. At first, nothing. Then I heard the faint sound of movement inside, like someone shuffling across the floor slowly. The door opened just a crack, and I saw a pale eye peering out at me. "Delivery," I said, forcing a smile. The door opened wider, and this guy stepped out. He was tall and way too thin, wearing a dirty t-shirt and pajama pants. He didn't say a word, just looked me up and down like he was sizing me up. Then he grinned. Not like a friendly grin, like he'd just found something he'd been waiting for. That's when I noticed there was no furniture in the house. From the doorway, I could see straight into the living room. Bare floors, bare walls, just shadows. The guy says, "Come inside. I'll get your money." Every instinct in me screamed nope. I told him I wasn't allowed to enter houses for deliveries. His smile dropped immediately. He stared at me for way too long, then, without another word, shut the door slowly. I stood there frozen, pizza bag still in my hands. Then I heard it laughter. Not from him, from inside the house. More than one voice. I bolted back to my car, tossed the pizza bag in, and sped off. When I got back to the store, I tried to call the number on the order slip. Disconnected. We never got another order from that address. To this day, I don't know what would have happened if I'd stepped inside. And honestly, I don't want to.
I used to work for UPS, mostly rural routes. Out in the sticks, you see all kinds of weird things. Hoarder houses, meth labs, yards full of dolls, you name it. But one delivery still makes me question what I saw. It was late fall, getting dark early. I had a package for a farmhouse at the very end of a dirt road. No other houses around, just woods and fields. When I pulled up, the house looked off. All the windows were covered with thick black plastic, and the porch light flickered like it was about to die. But the address matched, so I grabbed the package and headed up. Before I even knocked, the door swung open. A woman was standing there, smiling way too wide. She didn't say hello, didn't ask for the package, just said, "We've been waiting for you." I froze. UPS drivers aren't supposed to go inside. But she stepped back like she expected me to enter. I put the box down on the porch and muttered something like, "Have a good evening." She just kept smiling. Her eyes locked on me the whole time as I walked back to the truck. Here's the part that still gets me. When I checked my scanner, the package was already marked as delivered, signed by recipient. Except I hadn't handed it to her, and I definitely hadn't gotten a signature. I called it in to my supervisor, and he said, "That address shouldn't be on your route. It's been vacant for years." I drove past that road a few weeks later. The house was gone. Like, completely gone. Just an empty field. But I swear sometimes when I'm out late on deliveries, I hear a woman's voice behind me saying, We've been waiting for you. I worked as a UPS driver for almost 10 years. Long shifts, heavy boxes, endless miles of road, but it paid the bills. Most deliveries were routine. Same streets, same faces, same porches with barking dogs. But one night I got routed somewhere I'd never been before, and I wish I'd ignored it. It was winter, already dark by the time I reached the last few addresses on my scanner. I was driving one of those quiet rural routes. Nothing but trees and old farmhouses. Then the next stop popped up. A long dirt road with no streetlights and no landmarks. I almost thought it was a glitch, but the scanner confirmed it. Delivery required. The road narrowed the farther I went. Branches scraped the roof of the truck. My headlights barely cut through the dark. The GPS froze twice, then jumped like it was confused about where I was. At the end of the road, I saw it. A house set back behind the trees. 2 stories, but sagging, with boards rotting on the porch. No lights, no car, no sign of life. Still, the address matched. The package was small, wrapped in plain brown paper. No return address. No label other than the house number. I carried it up the steps, and the boards creaked under my boots like they hadn't been walked on in years. I knocked on the door, hard, my breath fogging in the cold. No answer. I turned to leave when I heard it, whispering. It was faint but close. Too close. Like someone was standing right behind me. I spun around. Nothing there. Just the empty porch and the trees swaying in the wind. But the whispers didn't stop. They circled me, slithering across the wood, curling into my ears. Then the front door creaked open an inch. I don't know why, but I froze instead of running. The air felt heavy, like the world was holding its breath. And then a man's voice came from the darkness. Inside. Low. Calm. We've been waiting for you. I set the package down and backed away. But the whispers from inside the house grew louder. Like dozens of people speaking all at once. Overlapping, frantic, too fast to understand. I bolted. I leapt off the porch, ran to the truck, and slammed the door. Gravel flew as I reversed back down the road. When I finally got to the next stop, I checked the scanner. The delivery was gone. No record of it. Like the package had never existed. The next morning, I drove back during daylight to convince myself I'd imagined it. But the road didn't look the same. Shorter, narrower, no mailbox. No driveway. Just trees. I would have chalked it up to fatigue if it weren't for what happened after. Because ever since that night, I've been hearing the whispers again. Not loud, not constant, just faint when I'm alone. In the truck cab, in my apartment, in the shower when the water's running. And sometimes I wake up in the middle of the night with the feeling that there's someone standing at the foot of my bed. Last night, I swear I heard the same man's voice. He whispered, "We're still waiting."